Hi, it's day 2 of angel channeling, and I did a yoga workshop this afternoon, so I am channeling in the evening under some pretty intense light, but I think it's gonna work out. And I'm excited because we had a hint yesterday of what's to come through, so let's go in and find out. I'm back in that really warm, cozy town that I was brought to yesterday where life is beautiful. It feels like everything is simple and beautiful. I don't know if you've heard of these blue zones in the world where people live to be over 100 and they're always trying to figure out why. I always notice, and maybe people have discovered, that it's where people really connect with each other and are engaged in each other's lives and supporting each other and in each other's day-to-day evolution and the challenges and the celebrations. They're not kept far apart from each other. They're running into each other and interacting, and there's harmony in that. Sometimes close quarters can create unrest, but it's when there are people that are actually harmonious that are in close quarters where life thrives and is vibrant. And it's a lost art. It's the lost art of living in close quarters with those who are vibrant and resonant, and where the relating is harmonious, and you're facing life's challenges together, and you're facing life's challenges between you too, but you're doing it in a gracious, growing way, not a damaging, traumatizing way. So being in close quarters with someone who's non-resonant can be like animals in a cage. It can just be, no fun for anyone. But being in close quarters with those who are resonant and feed your soul and can go on the ups and downs journeys with you, and things can come up between you and you can get together and get close and face it together and resolve it and move closer. That is the beauty of life. That's literally a lost art, is what I'm getting. And that's what the angels want to talk about today, is how to reclaim being in familial intimacy with those who are resonant and evolve together. Basically, I've been getting this in so many readings and sessions, which is that it's time for people to vibrate closer to those that are of like mind and spirit and heart. And the learning from being with those that are very different is fading away as the pedagogy of Earth School. Pedagogy meaning the method of learning. It's been a one-room classroom, Earth School, for a long time, where we're all together, and the mishmash of all the different developments and ages and different interests and ways of learning have been beneficial to a certain point. But we've gotten to a point of evolution where we need to separate out and be with those that are more like us, and let others be with those that are more like them. And it's interesting because when I first got this message from the angels, I'm going to say maybe a year ago, my grandpa that same day said that he had been in a one-room schoolhouse when he was growing up, and he's 96 now, I think. And I thought it was interesting because the angels had used this term, like this language of Earth School has been a one-room schoolhouse. And he said that it was amazing because you could learn from the other grades and they learned from you, and everyone sort of accelerated faster, getting visibility to all these different levels. And then he threw in there, without me asking, but when we went to high school, we all had to have our own grades. And I said, why? And he's like, when you get older, you need to have your own grade. So I feel like that was, to me, what landed was that Earth School, our incarnations here to grow and learn together and to express and create. There was a time when everyone was with everyone, and it was about trying to harmonize all those differences. And now it's about just being close with the people that think and feel similarly to how you do, and are facing similar challenges. So those that are dealing with anger, being with others that are dealing with anger, those that are dealing with, whatever it is, creating a new venture, being with others that are creating a new venture, dividing out into the different streams, this different specializations, which becomes even more so in university level. And then even more so when you get into your career, you specialize more and more and more and more. So in the evolution of this entire earth journey of humanity, and COVID was a great mechanism to begin this, it was people shaking out to be with those that were more like them, and discovering who wasn't by being put in close quarters, and then making new choices as soon as they could. And they want to share one more thing that happened during COVID in the spirit of all of this, those two things. And the third thing is that people realized the systems they were participating in, and they had been such auto mode. It had been so normalized. It was like they were fish in water and couldn't even see the water, and then they were sort of taken out of the water and looked at it and went, do I want to participate in that? Do I want to work that way? Do I want to work with that person? Wow, it's so nice to be away from so-and-so. So it was a reflection time about participation. And this new era of humanity is all about having the agency and the freedom that, the world is incredibly not free still, but for the freedom that has been cultivated, for those that have found some freedom, it's about choosing to go where there's resonance, where people celebrate you and how you do things, even if it's still working on really hard things. No one's perfect, but what I keep getting is you're working on the same things in the same way and wanting to play and celebrate and create the same way. And if those things are not happening, it's really the time to move and be with chosen family and chosen close people that do work that way. And it might mean being alone for a little bit in that transition. Okay, so they wanted me to share all of that. They're showing me this beautiful, cozy town where it feels like you're with your people. Like, oh, I found my people, and I'm spending my days the way I want to. And if anyone can relate to this, it's like, why am I here doing this with these people in this way? If you've ever had that thought, or you're having that thought, this is the opposite of that. This is when you're like, oh, I finally found my people, and we do the things I want to do in the way I want to do it. That's what the angels are supporting everyone to do right now. So what we just came out of, these 3 months of September, October, November, that sort of push at us and make us realize we're not actually really happy with this person, this relationship, this job, this way of doing things, and it makes us reach for something that's more resonant. So that's what the last 3 months have done. And a lot of people I know in these few days, December 1st, 2nd, I get tomorrow as well, we're in a cycle called identity death, that's marked by the phases of the moon. If anyone follows my guided meditations, you'll know that this is the identity death phase of the lunar cycle. So anything that didn't die in those 3 months is coming up really strong to die now. And you might notice something's really wanting to go away, and this is really a good time to let it, because all of nature wants you to shed like the leaves from the tree so that you can go into a sacred place with the parts that don't serve you or don't match anymore. You can just take the essence forward, and the essence becomes the seed that is left to go into the ground and incubate through the winter and then rise in the spring. So you want to leave behind that's not needed for the seed, the dead leaves, etc. And you want to take the essence and put it in the seed and have it go forward. So anything that's not going to go forward and serve you is falling away fast right now, and the message is definitely to let it. And then having said that, they'd like me to talk about what I've learned, so to speak from the heart and riff about what I've learned about the next 3 months, December, January, and February, and I call it magic season, after 18 years of working with the seasons this way. And this is the energy of, like, I'm from Canada, so for me, deep winter stillness, snow, quiet, reflective, cozy candles, fireplace, those feelings. Inward, precious, sacred. This is what you're doing, is you've dropped all this stuff that doesn't see you, doesn't connect with you, doesn't serve you. Used to be valuable. The leaves were very valuable for the seed. Now they no more value. Not that it's good or bad, it's just not needed anymore, non-resonant. That goes this way, you go this way. and this precious seed of essence goes forward. And magic season, the physics of it, so the physics of what I used to call dark season, but now call freedom season, where we can choose away from the things that poke at us. The barrier of energy between our sensitive natures, our being, and the lower vibration energy goes down. And so low vibration energy of fear, anger, frustration, unrest all poke at us to make us make choices. And when we make a choice, it catapults us to freedom. So we might decide this job is not worth it anymore, and we just go, we can't do it anymore, and then all of a sudden a new job opens. That's what the last 3 months have been. Magic season, that barrier between us and low vibration energy comes back. We've learned what we're supposed to learn or what we're going to learn this round. And the trajectory we've created from those choices, those free will choices, now gets put into a seed. And that seed is what magic season incubates, cultivates. And it happens by being very yin, meaning very receptive, very peaceful, very calm, very still. And the physics of it is that barrier between us and the low vibration energy goes away or comes back. So we don't feel poked as much anymore. And then the veil between us and divinity disappears. So we have connection with the energy of the divine, of the source place where we came from. And I have no religious background at all. The angels came and found me and talked to me. I would never have believed it in a million years. I'm 20 years into seeing and talking to angels and getting guidance that works for me and my clients. And so that's where I connected to divinity without religion. So this isn't a religious conversation. This is a nature conversation, because long before there was religion or language, there was humanity and divinity. So this is a natural process that has existed since existence began. Then, thousands, hundreds of thousands of years into humanity, we start to try to understand it, and then we put language on it, then we put religion on it, and sure, okay, that's great interface to understanding something that's always been there and has always been natural. And for some people, it brings them right into the heart of divinity. For some people, it totally messes them up and they can't access divinity. It's to each their own, and it all depends on how you're holding your religious experience or your non-religious experience. But what it is like, if a woman gets pregnant and she's going to have the stages of pregnancy, and then a baby is going to happen. Just like if you're a human, your nature is going to strive to return to knowing where it came from, divinity. And I happened to do it completely without religion, and then went on to read the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Torah, the Old Testament, the New Testament, have religious figures from history come to me as spirits and teach me, and have a beautiful connection with divinity now. And in fact, when I wake in the morning, I need to feel Jesus in my heart. I need to feel God holding my left side, and I need to feel the Divine Mother, which people I think that are Catholic would call that the Holy Ghost. So when I've talked to anyone about the Holy Ghost, what they describe, they feel and see and know is what I know of the Divine Mother. And so I feel the Divine Mother and God and Jesus. And the reason I say this is because these three energies came to me separately, one at a time, and presented themselves to me. I had a snapped leg, like a snapped muscle from dance in Portugal the first winter I was there. And on Christmas Day, I lied down and I felt Jesus come and hold me for 2 hours. And when I got up, I could walk. I had been on crutches and my leg didn't hurt anymore. And so I've met Jesus. He's an incredible consciousness, and he's healed me. And we've had 5 meetings, I think, and he's given me beautiful information every single time about how to use my hands for healing. And when I hold him in my heart, I feel that I have a brother who loves and knows and understands me. And when I feel the mother holding my right side, my active doing side, I feel like I know what to do from my higher self, that the divine energy of nature is flowing through me. I'm being animated by nature's life force, and not from my mind or contrived things, but by life itself. And then when I feel God hold my left side, my feminine side, I feel held and cared for and provided for. So when I wake up in the morning, I pull all three of them close to me. And when they're close to me, I have absolute clarity. I don't feel sad or depressed. I don't feel anxious or overwhelmed. I have faith and trust, and I can completely connect with the angels. When the three of them are not held close to me, doubts can come in. It's harder to connect. My mind starts telling stories, and then I'm like, oh wait, I gotta pull their energy back in. And when I pull them back in, I'm connected again and clear and calm, and everything works. What I just know that makes no sense to the mind ends up being the truth. And the mind would say that's not possible, but then I know it, and then it happens. So the Trinity is huge important to me, and that's my version of the Trinity, and that is what divinity is. It's the energies of source, of where we came from and where we're going to return to, that have self-actualized out of the oneness of source into these energies of Jesus, of angels, of God, of Mother, and of me. And when I hold those pure sources of energy around me, I again become a pure source, and I'm able to access pure source information. So magic season, December, January, and February, is when the veil between us and that source energy is gone. And if we reach for it, meaning like feel it, and in reading the sacred texts, I've seen this everywhere. In the Alhambra, the Arabic poetry. So this is I don't know, I think it's definitely thousands of years old. But one of the poems is contemplate my beauty and you will be penetrated with understanding. And it was contemplate nature, which is contemplating divinity being expressed purely, and you will be penetrated with understanding. And other sacred texts talk about like contemplate God, contemplate Jesus, feel into them, like reach for them, hold them in your heart. The Quran constantly is God is most merciful, oft forgiving. Every surah ends with that pretty much, surah being a verse of the Quran. It's knowing that God is holding you, and is soon as you turn towards God, every single part of the Quran that I've read is turn back towards God. Yes, you made this mistake, but turn back towards God, and they'll be right there. And that's like, soon as you put your consciousness towards divinity, divinity can connect with you. And I've had a client that said, I want Jesus to, Jesus, stay with me, just stay with me, because when you're here, I feel calm and clear, and when you're not here, I get anxious and overwhelmed. And he said to me, then stay with me, then keep your energy with me, keep reaching for me. And so I do it 30 times a day. Every time I get in the car, I'm like, are they all three here? And I know when they are, because I feel higher knowing, peaceful, trusting, and I know what to do and how to do it, and it works. All the things work. My mind doesn't come in and take over the narrative with what ifs and scary stories, etc. Okay, so all of this to say that December, January, and February is magic season, when the ability to reach for those energies is completely available, because this veil is so thin, and we can get consumed with shopping and being with lots of people and doing all these things and wrapping up the semester and getting ready for the next one, and we can miss using our consciousness to dial itself, to contemplate divinity, to reach for it, to say, if I could feel you, what would I feel? And then feel something, and then follow that feeling. I call it a glimmer, when something is calling you to something beyond, a beautiful possibility. Can you ask to feel divinity in the way that you're meant to feel it for you? I could have never come up with how it happened for me. I could have never ever gathered that Jesus would come to me, that the Divine Mother would come to me, that God would come to me, and present themselves and show me why they're here and how they can hold me, and how being close with them will eradicate so many accepted suffering elements of life. So the human condition that I had accepted was alleviated when I let all three of them in and to be with me all the time. So not religious, really, really held by divinity in this very specific way. It might sound, I don't know what it might sound like. I don't have religion as my framework, but I know that this is the practice I do that keeps me connected to a trusted true source, and that magic season is all about December, January, February, about connecting with it, to be in higher knowing and to get glimmers of possibilities for your life that you couldn't see otherwise if your head's down and you're not paying attention to that energy. That energy is a wellspring of possibilities and healing and wholeness. So I guess my invitation, I'm getting guided to wrap this up with an invitation. What would I invite people to do in magic season? Spend sacred time alone and with those that are resonant, that like to learn and celebrate and play in the same way that you do, and be still together. Ask each other deeper, heartfelt questions about higher truth and true desires and true fears and concerns and wishes. Get into the depths with those who are resonant. Spend time alone, peaceful, contemplate nature, contemplate what divinity might feel like and be for you. Ask for the painful things that arise when you slow down to sit with you. Ask for help from above and see what happens. When we slow down in this season, rather than go to party to party to party and fill it with buying and giving and wrapping and all the activity, if we take a quiet moment, we might realize we're sad in our relationship, or we're really worried about money, or we don't feel like we're good enough. And then see if you can reach for help from above and just be like, if you're up there, show me something, like show me the next step in this, and maybe alleviate some of this pain and suffering, and really do it heartfelt with a real true intention that of all the year, this is the time when you can access it the most and it can reach you the most. The veil is very thin, so you could ask for, please let me know you're there in some undeniable way, and please alleviate this fear about money, and please let me know exactly what to do and how to do so with ease and grace, and please help me understand what to do about this relationship and help me feel peace about it and know what the next step is. Ask all your questions and open yourself up and find out what's possible. That would be my invitation. Do your own experiments. I don't believe anyone can tell anyone anything. I needed to do it myself and had experienced it myself for years before I believed it, and now it's the only show in town for me. I'm so many years into working this way, and it's such a healthful way of being, and it's so whole and wholesome, and all the connections in my life are so beautiful and pure and resonant. And there's so many things I could worry about, but I don't, because I know I have trust and I have faith, because my higher knowing knows, because I'm connected to my higher knowing, and that's the only reason. So I hope this invitation is I guess I don't really hope anything for it. It was a pleasure to share it, and I do hope that it inspires some contemplation and invites any experiment you want to do. I always love being a catalyst for people's individual personal experimentation with these possibilities, an illumination of possibilities in there for you to do with them what you will. But I love illuminating them, and thanks for letting me share. And if you got this far, I'm really grateful, and there'll be another one tomorrow. Okay, thanks so much. Bye, happy magic season.